In the previous classes, actually regarding human and economic geography, we have mainly discussed about the population and its characteristic different different part of the population studies, like population distribution, population density, population growth. Then we have moved to migration. So now in today's class, we can discuss about settlement, population settlement, human settlement. What is this settlement stand for? What are the different types of settlements and their patterns? And what are the problems which is being faced by the human settlement? Problems already we have already discussed in population growth. जब पढ़ा है उसके साथ we have discussed population settlement का भी almost same problems होगा. That also we will discuss in today's class. So when we say about the human settlement itself, what is that? Actually something regarding to settle down somewhere. For that, as a human, we need shelter. Any animal, they would have a shelter. They need a shelter. Sometimes they will be stay under a roof, sometimes under a tree, sometimes in a cave. Like the same, as a human being, as a part of the animal kingdom, humans also require shelter. So this is one of the most important requirement, basic requirement of humans after food. This shelter protect us from कुछ ऐसा weather condition, बारिश हो रहा है, नहीं तो उतना गर्म हो रहा है. So this shelter helps to protect us from this weather condition. Other than this, from animals, from carnivorous जैसा animals से, it will protect. Other than this, it will protect us from enemies. Also, it helps us to settle down. For the same, it helps us to enjoy the social life, being a social being. So 𝐸𝑠𝑢p is the result of actually this settlement. It also helps us to, as we are settling in a particular environment, it helps us to adopt to a natural environment. Even if it is some harsh weather condition है एक जगह पे, we know the population will be less. Still, this shelter help us to stay that area. अभी हम बोलता है say region is very harsh, उधर तो temperature will reach almost like a desert region जैसा temperature आ रहा होगा. नहीं तो कुछ जगह है उधर बारिश बहुत ज्यादा होगा. If we don't have shelter, it is very difficult for us to sustain that. So shelters help us to sustain over these harsh conditions. Human settlement is a form of human habitat which ranges from single shelter to large city. ये सब ऐसा नहीं बोल पाएगा कि पूरा सिटी ही ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट है, नहीं तो टाउन है, रूरल एरिया है, ये सब सेटलमेंट ऐसा नहीं बोल पाएगा. Even if it is a single building, it can be said as a settlement of human being. It is a process of opening up, settling of previous uninhabited area by the people. That is actually the settlement. ऐसा है, एक जगह होगा where earlier there were uninhabited था, उसी एरिया पे we will start settling down, and we will start processing our life. That is called human settlements. So ये settlement origin of settlement, इसके बारे में कहाँ कब ये शुरू हुआ है, we don't have an exact idea, but in generally it is being classified. The origin of this settlement has been classified into multiple sequences. One is the religious factor, second one is the cultural, third one military and political factors, and finally the economic activity. So this is the stages which the settlement has grown. In the early time, the settlement was mainly for serving the religious purpose. Religious purpose बोलने से it is not like constructing a temple or church, ऐसा नहीं था. Mainly to secure, mainly to keep their burials, death. So for the death, to क्या चाहिए? We need a place to bury the death. So that will be our ancestors होगा और our forefathers होगा. तो उन लोगों को एक burial place दिया है. And for the same, we need to follow some rituals. So rituals करना है. This will be done by the priests. Priest ये जो चीज करे. So there is a burial place. There is something. तो उधर stay करना पड़ेगा ये burial process के लिए. साथ में उधर एक priest होगा. तो priest को and burial को एक जगह ढूंढना पड़ेगा. उधर they will start settling down, especially for religious purpose. Later, the men in the group, they have decided वो लोग क्या किया है? They are wanderers. Actually, human beings are wanderers and gatherers. They will go to the forest and they will collect food and they will come back. ऐसा था. They will sometimes they will hunt, they will gather food and come back to the home. तो ये लोग क्या किया है? They find these shelters as place to keep their women and children. तो उसी एरिया पे क्या हो गया? वुमन हो गया, चिल्ड्रंस हो गया एंड पहले वाला priest लोग हो गया एक जगह पे. And keeping them in a safer place, the men will move out to gather food. ऐसा हो गया. So when these men are going outside, the women, children, and the priest, they are weaker section है, so they want to protect them. इसके लिए they have started creating military and leaders. So the military and political leaders will stay there for safeguarding these women, children, and the priest, and also the burials. So they have started keeping a particular place में. They have kept all these and they will started moving to some other. So एक shelter बन गया. They start a settlement. ऐसा एक settlement शुरू हुआ है. Later क्या किया है? Someone has thought that if anyway we are moving to the forest and we are gathering food, so we can gather more food so that we can preserve it for our bad time. कुछ टाइम तो ऐसा होगा there will not be any food. तो उसी टाइम के लिए we can store it. So the economic activity started. So this is the structure how settlement has been evolved. So political structure, religious structure, cultural and economical structure ऐसा बन गया है. This is an assumption made by the early thinkers. So now we can classify the settlement. That is actually the type of settlement. When we say about the type of settlement, type and pattern दोनों अलग है. Pattern means how the settlement looks like. Type means ये कैसे है, ये settlement का कौन सी तरह का type है, इसका typology क्या है. So based on this classification of settlement, we can divide the settlement into three. One is compact settlement, second one is semi-compact or semi-nucleated settlement, and third one is dispersed settlement. Compact settlement is also known as the nucleated settlement. ऐसा भी बोलता है this compact settlement को, क्योंकि इट इज ऐसा है एक पर्टिकुलर सेंटर में बहुत ज्यादा सेटलमेंट्स होगा एक पर्टिकुलर सेंटर में. large number of houses is built very close to each other. क्योंकि after that they have अपना खेती होगा, they have their field होगा, agricultural lands होगा, and the people will stay in clusters. A cluster में they will stay. That kind of settlement is known as the compact settlement. Right now, this is not only for agriculture sector. If we go to the cities and towns, we can see these compact settlements. The houses are built in very close to each other. Second one is semi-compact or semi-nucleated settlement. So this is a transition phase towards this compact settlement. So ये compact settlement होने का पहले जैसे है. So houses are not that much close, but it tends to be closer in future. थोड़ा बीच में आने से it will become a compact settlement. So it's a transition stage. A transition stage का क्या factor है? It is mainly due to the improvement in the technologies. तो एक improvement हो गया है technology में. तो क्या हो गया? उसी area पे population will start growing, like developing एक industry नया आया है. So earlier there was no population and there was started a new industry. So in the initial stage क्या होगा? There were working population who came from outside and they will start residing near to this industry. So एक semi-compact structure form हो गया है. And after this industry, तो यहाँ वो लोग आ गया है working population. तो working population को serve करने के लिए like markets, hotels, hospitals, education centers, ये बहुत कुछ institution इसके सामने आ जाएगा. And again population will add as working force to these other supporting areas. So the settlements start to become compact. So semi-compact is the initial stage of to becoming a compact settlement. Then the dispersed settlement. So this is actually mostly underdeveloped होगा, mostly in सभी कुछ agricultural land में ऐसा नहीं तो एक बड़ा forest area में ऐसा settlements होगा. It is scarcely settled. एक house एक जगह पे होगा, दूसरा house बहुत दूर में. Houses are spaced far apart and often interspersed with field. तो इसके बीच में ऐसा बहुत कुछ areas होगा. Maybe it's a agriculture field right now also. Maybe it's a forest cover. Maybe it's a scrub land. ऐसा कुछ होगा. And houses are very long distance में houses होगा. So these are the major type of settlements. One is compact, second one is semi-compact, and third one is dispersed one. Again, another division is temporary settlement and permanent, or we can say unstable settlement and stable settlement. Unstable or temporary settlements are like that. They are mostly nomadic type of people uses that kind. Other than this, we can ऐसा है कुछ nomadic. Other than this, hunting peoples. They will hunt somewhere. They will stay there. They will move to some other. Then the pastoralites. Then the transhumans. Then the shifting cultivators. ये लोग क्या करेगा? They will stay somewhere. After some time, they will move to some other place. Otherwise, seasonally, they will move to some other place. So their dwellings are not permanent. They will create kacha houses, not pakka houses. They will create kacha houses. They will stay there for some time. After that, they will move to some other places. These are temporary settlements. So ऐसा एक society उधर नहीं बनेगा because the society itself is moving. एक society होगा sometimes it will be a nomadic group, sometimes it will be a tribal group, it will be a travelers group. ऐसा होगा. They will stay there for some time, they will move to some other place. ऐसा. That is actually temporary or unstable settlement. Stability nahi hai isme. The next one is the permanent or stable settlement, where the houses are built in a permanent manner. Pakka houses. Here, the main area of human settlement comes. It includes rural settlement and the urban settlement. Rural settlements are often small in size and have low housing and population density. And second one is urban. They are large in size and many houses are built close to each other and population density is also high. That is the difference between rural settlement and urban settlement. Now we can see types of rural settlements and types of urban settlements. In rural settlement, we have farmstead, we have hamlets, we have villages. Usually in rural settlement, the smaller rural settlements are always dispersed type ka hoga. Consist of 2 or more homesteads, usually dispersed in farmland hoga and occupied by or up to 50 individuals. पूरा वो एरिया में तो बड़ा सिटी होगा ना, एक फार्मलैंड होगा, उसके इधर उधर एक दो घर होगा, उसके अंदर जो काम करने वाला है एक जमींदार होगा, वो ऐसा कुछ लोग ही होगा, मैक्सिमम 50 इंडिविजुअल्स होगा उसी होमस्टेड. उतना बड़ा एरिया में उतना कम पॉपुलेशन होगा. दैट इज नोन एज द फार्मस्टेड और वी कैन से होमस्टेड. होमस्टेड में ऐसा है 2-3 आदमी ही होगा, पूरा मिला के एक पर्टिकुलर एक छोटा सा एक एरिया होगा, उसके अंदर 1-2 घर ही मैक्सिमम होगा. When it is in a farm area and consists of near to 50 individuals, it is known as the farmstead. Then hamlet. Hamlet इसके अंदर और ज्यादा population होगा. Made up several dispersed and nucleated or linear homestead, generally with shops होगा इसके अंदर, schools होगा, other service centers. Don't think it is a bigger like primary schools, primary healthcare centers, छोटा सा shop, ये सब होगा hamlets में, and occupied by some hundreds of population only. And why? Because there is less population, because other than primary, mostly they are engaged in primary activities. तो agriculture में होने से बहुत ज्यादा होनी चाहिए था, लेकिन यहाँ most of the people farming में है, फिर remaining तो उतना ज्यादा population is not depending on that particular sector. ऐसा है. Then villages. तो hamlet के बस 2-3 hamlet एक साथ मिलने से it will convert to a village. Consists of thousands of people. Hamlet में hundreds of people, farmstead में 50 up to 50 individuals है, and homestead में 2-3 individuals होगा. So this is the biggest rural settlement concept, that is the villages. It is also high chance of dispersed type का settlement होने का chances है. Also it has nucleated or both nucleated or linear type का settlement का भी chances है, because population कम होगा, एक जगह पे concentrate करेगा, नहीं तो disperse होके population settle होगा. Consists of several thousands of population, and the population is mainly primary occupation में होगा, and may also be in craft or cottage, very small scale industries में उसी area पे there may be presence of small industries. Cottage industry, household industries है ना, छोटा छोटा industries. and it's also consists of schools होगा, post office होगा, health centers होगा, छोटा सा market regions भी इसी area पे होगा. So these are the types of rural settlement based on the population and the services they are providing. Rural settlement and urban settlement comes under permanent or stable settlement के नीचे है. तो रूरल सेटलमेंट के अंदर है farmstead, hamlets and homestead, farmstead, hamlets and villages. Now we can see urban settlement types. Urban settlement के अंदर सबसे छोटा वाला settlement is considered as towns. Then multiple towns comes together, it will become, or a town become major area हो गया, then it will become a city. Then conurbations consist of multiple towns or multiple cities होगा, then megapolis सबसे बड़ा वाला, like 5 million population एक जगह पे है, so that can be considered megapolis. So towns are urban settlements up to several thousands persons. So when the villages area is being converted, उसका तो sector change हुआ, okay, when it moves to from primary sector to secondary or tertiary sector, that can be considered as these towns. It consists of many large chain stores होगा, chain type का continuous store system होगा, then media social and commercial facilities इसके अंदर होगा, like schools, bigger storage market areas, smaller industrial areas, ये सब इसके अंदर होगा. Then comes the cities. Cities बोलने से we know Guwahati is a city, Kolkata is a city. So city, Kolkata is not purely, it is bigger than a city actually. So ऐसा वाला area है where it has the size of multiple towns. छोटा towns नहीं है, तो both town मिलके it will convert to bigger as cities and give more services, and it serves more area as well. Like major state capitals with administrative functions. ऐसा वाला बहुत कुछ area हो गया cities के अंदर. Then conurbations. So when multiple cities or towns comes together or grows, it will join together and become a bigger or larger urban area of 1 million persons or more than that. Then that area we will consider as conurbation. तो इसे ऐसे बोलेगा. इसका ऊपर वाला अर्बन एरिया है मेगापोलिस, मेट्रोपोलिस एंड मेगापोलिस. It consists of several cities होगा, नहीं है तो conurbations होगा, which has grown over years and joined together. अभी हैदराबाद एंड सिकंदराबाद दो मेजर conurbations है, बड़ा cities है वो तो. And right now it is almost in a merging stage में है. So it will become a megapolis. बड़ा area हो गया. So that kind of area, urban area, we can say it as megapolis. Such area क्या होगा? Several square kilometers में होगा. इसका तो 5 million के ऊपर population भी इसी area पे होगा. So these are the major urban settlements. Now we can see this evolution of urban area or towns in India. तो टाइप्स हो गया, क्लस्टर्ड हो गया, और न्यूक्लिएटेड हो गया, सेमी क्लस्टर्ड और सेमी न्यूक्लिएटेड हो गया, एंड डिस्पर्स्ड हो गया. अनदर क्लासिफिकेशन था टेम्पररी सेटलमेंट एंड परमानेंट सेटलमेंट. टेम्पररी तो ऐसा है इट विल मूव और इट इज अनस्टेबल है. परमानेंट तो ऐसा है स्टेबल है. इसके अंदर रूरल सेटलमेंट भी आएगा, अर्बन सेटलमेंट भी आएगा, we have gone to the rural settlement and we have gone to the urban settlement. Now we can see the evolution of this urban settlement in India. So when we take the evolution of towns, even before history of India, prehistoric age of India, we know that we have some remainings of old cities, old town or old urban areas, like Harappan and Mohenjo-daro civilization near अभी का जो पंजाब, राजस्थान, पाकिस्तान का वो एरिया है, उसी एरिया में we have the Harappan and Mohenjo-daro towns. ऐसा एक तो था. Again, based on the evolution of these towns, based on their period, we can divide Indian towns into three. One is ancient town, second one is medieval town, and the modern town. So ancient town, ancient era में, medieval era में medieval town, and modern era में modern towns. There are towns in India which has historical background over 200 years के पहले. ये क्या होगा? 200 years के पहले इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ तो नहीं है, एग्रीकल्चर ग्रोथ है लेकिन उतना ज्यादा नहीं है. तो किसके वजह से देयर इज ऐसा ग्रोथ होगा? इट इज बेस्ड प्योरली ऑन रिलीजियस एंड कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज लाइक वाराणसी, प्रयाग, पाटलिपुत्रा, मथुरै. These are all ancient towns based on developed due to the influence of religious and cultural acts. That kind of towns we can say it as ancient towns. Then time crossed religious activities to cultural activities, then the political system developed. So political system में we know that पहले एक लीडर बनाया था, तो लीडर has been converted to kings and emperors. Emperor बन गया. So kingdoms have started developing. So medieval period is a time of these kingdoms. So the growth of towns in India during medieval towns is related to different kingdoms. About hundreds of existing towns have their roots in the medieval period. Most of them have the headquarters of principalities and the kingdom. इसका main recognition क्या होगा? In that city we can see fort, different fort. नहीं ये तो palace you can see. Like दिल्ली में जाने से you can see Red Fort. ऐसा बहुत कुछ फोर्ट है उस एरिया पे. देन हैदराबाद में, देन जयपुर, लखनऊ, आगरा, ये सब जगह पे जाने से इवन द टूरिस्ट attraction of this area is mainly the fort. So kingdom established in this fort area. So these are the medieval towns. Then comes the modern towns. So modern town after kingdoms का जो ending हो गया है, that is mainly because of the coming of Britishes, Europeans. So Britishes has started their colonies in India. So they made some area as their regional capitals or nodal offices. Consists of Bombay, Chennai, Kolkata, Delhi. Yes, sir. वो लोग बना. These are called the modern towns. These areas where Britishers established their offices, nodal offices or capitals, become the modern towns. So these are the major evolution of Indian towns. Now we can see the trends of urbanization in India. In 1901, it was only 100,827 urban towns, urban areas or towns the India, and only 10% of the population belongs to the urbanized area. When it slowly started increasing, and even it became 1951, so almost 50 years later, it has doubled, almost doubled, not doubled, almost doubled, and the number has increased to 2,843. Based on census data hai, so we can rely on this. And you can see only 20.29% has become urban population. So the recent 2011 census it is already become 7,935 urban area or town area where in India, and the population become 31.16%. So 1/3 of the population become the part of urban areas. So this is the trend of urbanization in India. And there was a classification for Indian towns. अभी का जो areas है उसको तो classify किया है. First class cities, second class cities, third class cities, fourth class cities, ऐसा divide किया है based on the population. So इसमें if you look, first class cities are, first class towns are considered as, sorry, नीचे से जाएगा, those who have less than 5,000 population, that is comes under 6th class में आए, 6th class town है. 5th class बोलने से 10,000 के नीचे, 4th class बोलने से सॉरी इसमें थोड़ा सा 20,000 के नीचे असली में, एंड 3rd क्लास बोलने से 50,000 के नीचे है, 2nd क्लास का बोलने से 1 लाख के नीचे है, एंड 1st क्लास टाउन्स बोलने से 1 लाख के ऊपर होने से that will be considered as the 1st class cities and towns. So right now it is estimated that there is 423 1st class towns in India, and the population belongs to 61.4. Urban population say almost 61.48% is living in these 1st class cities and towns. So this is how the population is divided. Urban areas is divided based on the population in India. Patterns. So settlement type हो गया है, टाउन अर्बन रूरल हो गया है, तो रूरल से अर्बन, अर्बन एरिया इंडिया में कैसे था ये भी we have understood. Now we can move to the settlement patterns. So based on the forms or configuration of settlement, how the shape of the settlement, actually the shape of the settlement, based on the shape of the settlement, it has been divided into multiple types. अभी हम कुछ बोलेगा, whatever the shape you feel, you can say that pattern. Important one are, first one is linear pattern. तो एक नदी जा रहा है, तो इसके दोनों साइड में सेटलमेंट स्टार्ट किया है, तो दिस इज एक्चुअली ए लीनियर पैटर्न है. तो एक रोड जा रहा है, इसके दो साइड में सेटलमेंट हो गया है, सो दिस इज एक्चुअली द लीनियर पैटर्न एस्टैब्लिश्ड अलोंग ए रोड, रिवर, रेलवे लाइन, कैनाल एडजस्ट, ये सब के साथ जो सामने किनारे और बैंक्स में इफ यू स्टार्ट कंस्ट्रक्टिंग फॉर्म्स, इट इज कॉल्ड लीनियर पैटर्न. फॉर एग्जांपल गंगा, इंडस वैली, ये सब रिवर के नहीं तो एनएच के सामने वाले जो भी हो, वी कैन से इट एज लीनियर पैटर्न. Then rectangular pattern. Such modes of rural population or settlements are found in plain regions or wider inter-mountain valley के बीच में. There will be a flat area चाहिए, उसके अंदर क्या होगा, ऐसा rectangular shape का होगा, इसके सेंटर क्या होगा, there will be a जमींदार हाउस, ऐसा कुछ होगा, nearly they have the settlement, ऐसा settlements इसके सब साइड में होगा. The roads are rectangular and cross each other at right angle. The settlements with rectangular pattern have high degree of nucleation. इसके अंदर हम बोला है ना ऐसा ऐसा है तो nucleated settlement है इसके अंदर. And 50% of the world population live in such settlement. So plain, usually we prefer to live in a plain area. Most of the population is living in a plain area, and if you take, it is mainly in a rectangular or we can say circular pattern. These are all based on the center area में कैसा है ऐसा shape में बाकी भी आ जाएगा. Usually if we can see roads are crossing like this. तो ऐसा क्रॉस होने से इसका बीच में it will come as rectangular shape. जो settlement इसके अंदर हो जाएगा, that will also form in the shape of rectangles. Then the circular pattern. Circular pattern ऐसा होगा, एक लेक होगा, नहीं है तो एक पॉन्ड होगा, ऐसा कुछ बीच में होगा, टैंक होगा राउंड शेप का. इसके जो सराउंडिंग्स में सेटलमेंट होने से that will be in the shape of circular pattern. Circular which grow around a lake, tanks, or sometimes the villages is organized in such a way that at the central part remains accessible and is beautiful, keeping animals to guard them against wild animals. So to guard, तो बीच में कुछ जगह पे क्या होगा, farms होगा, इसके अंदर animals होगा. Then the star shape. Star shape तो बोलने से ऐसा ऐसा roads होगा. तो ये सब जगह पे you can see settlements like a star, where the several roads meet, star-shaped settlements emerge. ऐसा है. Just by looking at the shape of the settlement, you can say this is this kind of pattern. Again, triangular pattern. Triangular pattern बोलने से अभी एक रोड इधर गया है, दूसरा रोड इधर गया है. इनके बीच में जो settlement आएगा, it will be in the shape of a triangle. So that is called triangular pattern or arrowhead pattern. Then radial pattern. तो एक जगह होगा, there will be center here. तो यहाँ से multiple roads, यहाँ 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 ऐसा multiple roads होगा. तो इस side में there will be settlement होगा. इस side में, इस side में, इस side में. So it is radiating from the center to other places. That kind of settlement we can say it as radial when the transport lines are emerging from a single point. अभी ये hill है, hill area है, तो इसके ऊपर से तो एक रोड इधर जा रहा है, दूसरा रोड इधर जा रहा है, दूसरा रोड इधर, तो यहाँ से रेडिएट होके इस डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है. That is known as radial pattern. Then the nebular pattern. Nebular pattern ऐसे just like a nebula ऐसा होगा settlements. तो ऐसा settlement होने से we will say it as nebula. This pattern is developed when the transport lines appear like a nebula of circle ring emerging from the center. ऐसा है. Such patterns are common in German villages, especially not mainly seen in India. It can be seen in German villages. Then other shapes also you can see T-shaped है, Y-shaped है, cross-shaped है, multiple shapes का. If you say, you can see any shape. You can say it as that pattern. You can mention it. So these are some of the patterns. If you look at, you can see this is linear pattern, this is circular pattern, this is star shape. ऐसा star shape है. यहाँ यहाँ ऐसा road जा रहा है, इसके बीच में settlement हो गया है. तो this is actually star shape है, and this is rectangular shape का है. यहाँ पे सेंडर जमींदार का हाउस होगा, तो इसके सामने जमींदार ओन कास्ट होगा, अदर कास्ट इसके सामने होगा. दिस इज अ ट्रेडिशनल वे. राइट नाउ क्या है, ऐसा एक रोड है, ऐसा एक रोड है, ऐसा मल्टीपल रोड होने से ऐसा रेक्टेंगल शेप पे जाने से इस साइड पे सेटलमेंट होगा इन द शेप ऑफ रेक्टेंगल्स. सो दिस इज नेबुलर पैटर्न. इफ ए रोड ऐसा एक हिली एरिया है, तो हिल ऐसा एक हिल है, तो क्या करेगा, यहाँ से हिल उसी साइड में रोटेट होकर सब नीचे तक आ जाएगा. तो ऐसे दैट इज कॉल्ड नेबुलर पैटर्न. देन दिस इज ट्रायंगुलर पैटर्न. रिवर और रोड ऐसे जाएगा एंड इट विल मर्जेस. तो इसके बीच में इफ देयर इज सेटलमेंट लाइक दोब्स, वो गंगा दोब हम बोला है, जहाँ पे इन बिटवीन टू रिवर्स देयर विल बी पॉपुलेशन सेटलमेंट or land area where there is, if there is population, we can say it as triangulated or arrow shaped settlement. So these are some of the patterns of settlements. Any shape you can mention it, not an issue. So mainly you want to write linear shape, star shape, rectangular shape, circular shape, nebula shape. All these are common type of settlement patterns. Now we can look at the problems of human settlements. When we say about human settlement, we said there is mainly two kinds of settlement. One is rural settlement and second one is the urban settlement. So let's see the problems of rural settlement. First one, rural settlement is developed in a large number of क्या है poorly equipped with infrastructure है. उधर उतना तक facilities नहीं होगा उसी एरिया. Then less job opportunities है उसी एरिया पे, क्योंकि mostly they were depending on primary sector में होगा, तो primary sector में job उतना ज्यादा नहीं होगा. So they want to move to some other places like secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector में they want to move on. Then supply of water. Rural area में inadequate होगा in many countries, especially in developing countries में supply of water का थोड़ा problem होगा. पानी तो होगा, but if the land itself is not drained, then there will be problem. We in India we can see in Bundelkhand region, it's a rural region है. तो उसी region में क्या है? People are struggling for water. It's a semi-arid region है. So that can also be happen. Then general absence of toilet, garbage disposal facilities, ये सब है. Toilets होगा, garbages होगा, ये सब dispose करने के लिए असली में bathroom नहीं होगा, common bathroom होगा, नहीं है तो on field में जाकर टॉयलेट करना पड़ेगा, तो बहुत मुश्किल है इसी. तो इट्स एन अनहेल्थी कंडीशन, अनहाइजीनिक कंडीशन है मेनी एरिया में. देन हाउसेस आर मेड ऑफ मड, वुड, ऐसा कच्चा हाउसेस होगा मोस्ट ऑफ द हाउसेस. सो ड्यूरिंग रेनी सीजन इट विल गेट डैमेज इजली, और फ्लडिंग सीजन में भी ये जल्दी खराब हो जाएगा. And another चीज है unmetal roads and lack of modern communication network. ये सब है. Development उसी infrastructural facilities कम होगा उसी एरिया पे. Even they are not properly getting the communication facilities and the metal roads they don't get. Another thing, during rainy season, तो ये road होगा उतना अच्छा roads नहीं है. So their communications, the settlements remain cut off from the main. कुछ रेन फ्लड हो गया तो बोलो क्या होगा, उसका कम्युनिकेशन कट होगा. देन फाइनली दे हैव नॉट एडिक्वेट हेल्थ फैसिलिटी, एजुकेशन फैसिलिटीज, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फैसिलिटीज, ये सब. सो दीज आर द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ रूरल सेटलमेंट. यू कैन ऐड मोर ऑन दिस. Whatever I find, I have given here. You can find more. And now we can move to the problems of urban areas. Urban areas we have already discussed in the population growth. जब पढ़ा है उसी time हम बोला है. There is problems of slums, political issues, employment issues, poverty, waste disposal, multiple problems are there. Let's see. The cities are still developing suffer congestive due to lack of planning. इंडिया में बहुत सिटीज का ऐसा प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि हमारा सिटीज एवोल्यूशनरी चेंज से हुआ है. नॉट ऐसा नहीं, हाँ मेरे पास पैसा है तो वी कैन मेक ए सिटी. इफ आई एम डिसाइडिंग लाइक दैट आई कैन प्लान इट, बट हमारा सिटीज हैज नॉट डेवलप्ड लाइक दैट. इट इज एन एवोल्यूशनरी प्रोसेस थ्रू विच आवर सिटीज हैव डेवलप्ड. सो देयर मे बी प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ कंजंक्शन. एक रोड तो पहले वाला बनाया होगा तो it should be widen up. So before, if you want to widen it, if you look on the other side, there will be marketplaces and residential houses. तो उसको तो निकालना होगा. So there are a lot of problems that will create congestion. Then in some other scenario, there is increase in number of living population. This is mainly the problem of developing countries. जो भी इंडिया हो, ब्राजील हो, चाइना हो, सबका मेन प्रॉब्लम है. सिटीज में बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम. If we move to some other states like developed countries का तो होने से, even though it is a city place, the population is comparatively less and the space is much better. And other thing is most of the settlements are non-legal settlements होगा, and the growing rate is a faster rate compared to rest of the cities. ऐसा भी problem, especially in India. इसका growth, population growth बहुत चलती है. He asked the development as the population growth is like that, developing countries faces many problems like lack infrastructural facilities. तो ये सब population को provide करने का infrastructure facilities नहीं होगा. That's like facilities, education facilities, sewage disposal का problem, electricity facilities, water facilities, lot of problems. देखो lack of drinking water है, packed house तो packed होगा, बहुत ज़्यादा slums होगा इसी area पे. So all these causes problems to the urban area. Again, one of the important problem is the environmental pollution. Environmental pollution consists of noise pollution, water pollution, air pollution, सब तरह का pollution उसी area पे we can see. So these are some of the problems that is being faced by rural and urban area. As a common, we can see it as in human settlement areas. I have given some of the reference from where I have taken these data. So you can look into it. You can go to the site and you can read this. I have collected most of the important points to collect कर दिया है, वो जो reference दिया है उसने से. इसी एरिया पे कुछ डाउट है?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.